"Mom! Dad! I'm alive!" The beggar screamed desperately and broken. Linda's hands flew to her mouth. Her knees buckled. Her husband Andrew caught her before she hit the ground. At the cemetery gate, a beggar in a wheelchair sat watching them. His clothes hung in rags. His face was hollow, marked by years on the streets. But his eyes, Linda knew those eyes. "Kevin!" Her voice barely escaped. The beggar's face crumpled. Tears spilled down his cheeks. "It's me, Mom." Andrew stepped forward, shaking. His fist clenched. Not in anger. In disbelief. "That's impossible." His voice cracked. "You died 5 years ago. We buried you." Kevin wheeled closer, his hands trembling on the wheels. "I survived, Dad. But I lost everything. My memory, my name, myself." He paused, staring at the gravestone behind them, the one carved with his own name. "I didn't know who I was. Until 2 weeks ago." Linda collapsed to her knees in front of him. She reached out slowly, afraid he might vanish. Her fingers touched his face. He was real and alive. "My baby." She pulled him close and sobbed. "My boy." Andrew fell beside them. The three held each other and wept. 5 years of grief poured out in that moment. People walking through the cemetery stopped. Some stared, some whispered, some filmed on their phones. The family didn't notice. Nothing else existed. After a long silence, Andrew pulled back. He wiped his eyes and looked hard at Kevin. "Where have you been?" Kevin took a shaky breath. "After the crash, I woke up in a hospital. No memory, no wallet, no ID. The doctors couldn't figure out who I was." He paused. "They released me. I ended up on the streets." Linda's hand flew to her mouth. "I begged for food. Slept in alleys. Had nothing." Kevin's voice dropped. "For years, I lived like that. Until a man named Peter found me. He didn't have much. But he took me in. Fed me. Gave me shelter." Kevin's eyes filled with tears. "He saved my life when the world forgot I existed." Andrew's jaw tightened. "And your memory?" "Came back 2 weeks ago." Kevin looked up. "I saw my face on the news. A missing person report. Everything flooded back." He gestured toward the grave. "I knew you'd be here. You always came." Linda touched his face again, making sure he was real. But Andrew's expression changed. Grief turned into something darker. "Kevin." His voice went cold. "That accident. It wasn't random, was it?" Kevin's face hardened. "No." The air grew heavy. "What do you mean?" Linda whispered. Kevin looked straight into his father's eyes. "Someone tried to kill me." Andrew barely breathed. "Who?" Kevin's hands gripped the armrests. "Uncle Brian." Linda gasped. Andrew's face turned to stone. "That can't be true." "It is." Kevin reached into his torn jacket and pulled out a folded envelope. It was stained, worn, but intact. "I have proof, Dad. Proof that will destroy everything you thought you knew about this family." Andrew stared at the envelope. Linda looked between her son and husband, breath caught in her throat. Kevin handed it over. "Open it. You need to see what he did." Andrew's hands shook as he took it. The cemetery fell silent. Andrew's fingers trembled as he tore open the envelope. Inside were photographs, bank statements, text messages printed on faded paper. His face went pale as he read. Linda leaned closer. Her eyes scanned the documents. Then she covered her mouth and gasped. "No. No, this can't be real." Kevin's voice was steady now. "It's real, Mom. All of it." Andrew looked up at his son. His eyes were red. His jaw tight. "Where did you get this?" "Peter helped me," Kevin said. "Before I got my memory back, he noticed things. Strange men following me. Cars parked outside his house for hours. He started asking questions. Kevin pointed at one of the photos. That's Uncle Brian meeting with a man 2 days before my accident. His name is Marcus. He's a mechanic. Brian paid him to cut my brake lines. Linda's hands shook. Why would Brian do this? Kevin's voice dropped. Because I was in his way. Andrew stared at the documents, his mind racing. The company, he whispered. Kevin nodded. Dad, you were planning to make me vice president. You were going to give me control of operations. Brian knew that. And he knew once I stepped in, he'd lose his power, his access, and his money. Andrew's fists clenched around the papers. So he killed you. He tried, Kevin said quietly. He thought I died in that crash. Everyone did. But I survived. And for 5 years, he's been living off your grief. Taking more control. Making himself irreplaceable. Linda stood slowly. Her face was no longer soft. It was hard. We trusted him. After you disappeared, he held us together. He ran the business. He sat with us at this grave every month and cried with us. Her voice rose. He cried with us. Kevin reached for her hand. I know, Mom. That's why I had to be sure before I came to you. I needed proof. Real proof. Andrew flipped through more pages. His breathing quickened. These bank transfers. He's been stealing from the company for years. Millions, Kevin confirmed. He used shell companies. Fake contracts. Paid himself through vendors that don't exist. Andrew's face twisted in rage. And these messages? Kevin hesitated. Read them. Andrew's eyes moved across the screen. His face darkened with every line. The messages were between Brian and Marcus. Is it done? Yes. Brake lines cut. He won't make it past the highway. Good. Make sure there's no trace. There won't be. This will look like an accident. It better. If this comes back to me, you're dead too. Linda sank back down onto the bench beside the grave. She looked at the headstone, her son's name carved in stone, and something inside her broke. We mourned the wrong person, she whispered. We should have been mourning Brian's soul. Because he has none. Andrew folded the papers carefully and slid them back into the envelope. His hands stopped shaking. His voice turned ice cold. Where is he now? At the house, Kevin said. I saw his car in the driveway when I passed by this morning. Andrew stood. His face was stone. Then we're going home. Linda looked up at him. Andrew, what are you going to do? He didn't answer. He just stared at the grave one last time. Then he turned to Kevin. Can you prove all of this to the police? Kevin nodded. Peter made copies. He has everything stored safely. Texts, photos, financial records, witness statements from people Brian blackmailed. Witnesses? Linda asked. 3 employees who knew what he was doing. He threatened their families to keep them quiet. But Peter found them. And they're ready to talk. Andrew's jaw locked. Good. Then we do this right. We go to the police first. We give them everything. And we let the law handle him. Kevin looked at his father with respect. You don't want to confront him? Andrew's voice didn't waver. Oh, I want to. More than anything. He paused. But if I see him right now, I won't be able to control myself. And I won't let him turn me into a criminal too. Linda stood and took Andrew's hand. He'll run, she said quietly. The moment he hears Kevin is alive, he'll disappear. Andrew pulled out his phone. Not if we move fast. He dialed a number. It rang twice. Detective Morris? This is Andrew. I need to see you immediately. It's about my son. There was silence on the other end. Yes. Kevin. He's alive. And I have evidence that my brother tried to murder him. I'm at the cemetery. I'll meet you at the station in 20 minutes. He hung up. Linda looked at Kevin. Tears filled her eyes again, but this time, they weren't from sadness. You're really here. You're really alive. Kevin smiled. It was weak, tired, but real. I'm here, Mom. She kissed his forehead. Andrew placed a hand on Kevin's shoulder. Let's go end this. The three of them left the cemetery together. Behind them, the gravestone stood silent, a lie carved in stone. But ahead of them was the truth. And the truth was coming for Brian. The police station was cold and quiet. Andrew, Linda, and Kevin sat across from Detective Morris. The envelope lay open on the desk between them. Morris flipped through the documents slowly. His face remained calm, but his eyes grew sharper with every page. This is serious, he said finally. If this is all accurate, your brother is looking at attempted murder, fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. It's accurate, Kevin said. Every word. Morris looked at him closely. You've been gone 5 years. Living on the streets. No contact with anyone from your old life. That's going to raise questions. I know, Kevin said. But Peter can verify everything. And the witnesses Brian threatened, they're ready to talk now. Morris nodded slowly. We'll need to move quickly. If Brian suspects anything, he'll run. Andrew leaned forward. What do you need from us? Stay here. Let us handle the arrest. Don't contact him. Don't go home yet. Morris stood. I'll send a team to your house within the hour. Linda gripped Andrew's hand. Will he go to prison? Morris looked at her with steady eyes. If this evidence holds up, yes. For a very long time. 2 hours later, Brian sat in an interrogation room. His expensive suit was wrinkled now. His confident smile was gone. Across from him, Detective Morris laid out the photographs one by one. Recognize this man? Morris pointed to Marcus in the photo. Brian's face remained blank. Never seen him. Morris slid over the bank statements. Then explain these transfers. $200,000 to a shell company registered under a fake name. Your fake name. Brian's jaw tightened. I don't know what you're talking about. Morris placed the printed text messages in front of him. Is it done? Morris read aloud. Brake lines cut. He won't make it past the highway. Brian's hands clenched into fists. That's fake. Anyone could have made that up. Morris leaned back. We arrested Marcus an hour ago. He's talking. Right now. Gave us everything. He paused. Including the $20,000 you paid him to kill your nephew. Brian's face drained of color. I want a lawyer. Smart choice. Morris stood. Because your nephew is alive. And he's coming for you. Brian's eyes went wide. That's impossible. The door opened. Kevin wheeled into the room. Brian's mouth fell open. His hands began to shake. No. No, you're dead. You died. I saw the reports, the funeral and the grave. Kevin stared at him. No emotion. No anger. Just cold truth. You tried to kill me, Uncle Brian. You cut my brakes. You watched my parents cry at my grave. And you stole from them while pretending to care. Brian stood, his chair scraping loudly. I did this for the family. You were weak. You didn't deserve the company. So you tried to murder me? I saved the business. Brian shouted. Your father was going to hand everything to you, a spoiled child who knew nothing. I built that company with my own hands. Andrew stepped into the room behind Kevin. His face was stone. You built nothing, Brian. You stole, you lied, you killed. Brian turned to his brother, desperate now. Andrew, please. We're family. We're blood. Andrew's voice was ice. You stopped being my brother the moment you hurt my son. Brian's legs gave out. He collapsed back into the chair. Detective Morris motioned to the officers outside. Take him. Two officers entered and pulled Brian to his feet. They handcuffed him. As they led him toward the door, Brian looked back at Kevin one last time. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Kevin didn't respond. The door closed. Silence filled the room. Linda entered and wrapped her arms around Kevin. Andrew placed his hand on his son's shoulder. "It's over," Andrew said quietly. Kevin shook his head. "Not yet." The next morning, Kevin gave his parents an address. "There's someone you need to meet," he said. "Someone who deserves to know what happened." Oh. Andrew drove slowly through the narrow streets on the edge of town. The houses here were small, worn, but cared for. They stopped in front of a tiny cottage with peeling paint and a garden full of wildflowers. Linda's hands trembled as they walked to the. Kevin knocked. Footsteps shuffled inside. The door creaked open. A man in his mid-50s stood in the doorway. His hair was streaked with gray. His shirt was faded but clean. But his eyes, they were gentle, warm. He saw Kevin first. Then his gaze moved to Andrew and Linda. "You must be his parents," Peter said quietly. Linda's breath caught. She'd imagined this man 1,000 times. The stranger who saved her son when the world had abandoned him. She couldn't speak. She just stepped forward and wrapped her arms around him. Peter froze for a moment, shocked. Then his arms slowly came up and held her. "Thank you," Linda whispered, her voice breaking. "Thank you for keeping him alive." Peter's eyes filled with tears. "He kept me alive too," he said. "I had nothing left to give my family. No hope. Then I found him. And suddenly, everything changed." Andrew extended his hand. Peter shook it. But Andrew didn't let go. He pulled Peter close and gripped his shoulder. "You saved our son," Andrew said firmly. "Now let us help you and your family." Peter's lips trembled. "I don't need." "Yes, you do," Linda said gently. "And we want to." 3 months later, Brian was sentenced to 25 years in prison. His assets were seized. Andrew took back control of the company, but his heart wasn't in it anymore. His focus had shifted. They flew Kevin to a world-class medical center overseas. The doctors were cautious. His injuries were severe. The nerves in his legs had been damaged for years. But they were willing to try. Surgery after surgery. Therapy sessions that left Kevin drenched in sweat and biting back screams. Linda stayed by his side. So did Andrew. Peter visited often, bringing encouragement and hope. Months crawled by. Then one cold morning in the rehab center, something changed. Kevin gripped the parallel bars. His knuckles were white. His jaw clenched. "I'm going to stand," he said. The therapist nodded. "Take your time." Kevin pushed. His legs shook violently. His body screamed in protest. But inch by inch, he rose. Linda gasped. Her hand covered her mouth. Andrew stepped forward, eyes wide. Kevin stood, wobbling, struggling, but standing. Tears streamed down his face. "I'm standing," he whispered. And then he took a step. Linda sobbed. Andrew's voice cracked as he whispered, "That's my boy." Kevin took another step. And another. For the first time in 6 years, Kevin walked. While Kevin recovered, Andrew and Linda quietly worked on something else. They bought a beautiful house in a peaceful neighborhood. Not too big, not too flashy, but comfortable, safe. A real home. They bought it, furnished it, and one afternoon, they invited Peter and his family over. Peter arrived with his wife and 3 children. They looked nervous and confused. Andrew handed Peter a set of keys. "What's this?" Peter asked. "Your new home," Linda said softly. Peter stared at the keys. His wife covered her mouth. "We can't accept this," Peter said, his voice shaking. "You can. And you will," Andrew said. You gave us our son back. This is just the beginning. Over the following months, Andrew and Linda helped Peter and his wife start 2 profitable businesses. One in construction, one in catering. They also offered Peter's eldest child a position at their company. A real job with benefits. Peter's family, who had struggled for years, finally had stability, security, and hope. 2 years later, Kevin got married to Grace. They had met at a community center where Kevin volunteered. She worked with children who'd lost parents. He helped survivors of trauma rebuild their lives. She'd listened to his story without pity, only admiration. And slowly, quietly, they'd fallen in love. Peter sat in the front row with his wife and children in the wedding auditorium. He dabbed his eyes with a handkerchief. Grace walked toward Kevin. He couldn't take his eyes off her. When she reached him, he took her hands. "I never thought I'd have this," he whispered. She smiled through her tears. "You deserve this. And so much more." They spoke their vows. And when they kissed, the small crowd erupted in applause. Andrew leaned over to Peter. "You gave us our son back. Now look at him." Peter shook his head, smiling. He gave himself that. "I just reminded him he was worth saving." A year after their wedding, Kevin's wife gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl, and they lived happily and healthily. Greed destroys everything it touches. Brian had wealth, family, and respect, but it wasn't enough. His hunger for more cost him his freedom, his family, and his soul. Kindness is never wasted. Peter had nothing, but his compassion saved a life and changed a family forever. You don't need money or power to make a difference, just a willing heart. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's strength. Kevin could have spent his life angry and bitter. Instead, he chose to heal, and that choice set him free. The ones who lift others will never be forgotten. Subscribe so you never miss stories that remind you miracles are real.